on this computer. That'd be bad for all the people that want the recording. All right. For all that are watching the recording, you just missed all the fun party stuff. So tune in next time live and tune in early. Week 3, coffee and consistency. You guys are seeing the successes. By the way, everyone, take your right hand, take your left hand, put it together like that. Kelly, I can see you. You better give yourself a high five. Self five. All right. Because no one told you guys that it's November. Like, is it a slow month? Is it not? Is it like, are there less people getting healthy this time of year? No one told you any different. We have started more clients today by the 10th of the month than we did last month. Our group volume, we beat the 10th of the month group volume yesterday. We are on fire right now. Today, we're going to show you the things that make that difference. People are always looking to change their health. And hold on, I got to mute someone real quick. We're going to show you these things today that make the difference on this. So congratulations on that. First week, we went over setting up structure and schedule, how to build the rocks in. So hopefully you have those rocks in. And if you have, like the pros do, your job has gotten really simple. You probably noticed the simplicity as you're doing this. And actually, drop me a 1, whether you've been doing this for a long time and have your rocks in, or if you recently put your rocks in and things are just easy and flowy and people are changing their lives because you have those rocks. I love it. I love all the ones. Week 2, we went into planning your month like a pro. Jen Spore broke down social media so good. Hold on, I gotta mute someone else real quick. Hold on, manage participants. I love it. We have so many new people. All right, so other disclaimer, if you can't see a red line through your microphone, you are talking live on the call right now. Who's talking right now? I can't figure out who it is. All right, they muted themselves. All right, back to the deal. Jen Spore broke it down last week on social media. It was so good. Did everyone love what she covered last week? Drop me a 2 if you got some mind blows on that. We're going to cover a little bit more again on that today because social media is the gateway to people changing their health. So Lindsay's going to drop some bombs on that later. And we covered follow-up and bringing it to the phone like a pro because integrated clients start way before we ever talk about them. Oops, I got to go back real quick. But today, I'm going to get into what we're going to cover today in a second, but it's basically going to be health pro status, health assessments, sharing the full trilogy, a little bit of creating referrals, starting your client strong, and all the way follow-up. So as we get in here today, you guys know the theme. This is the reason why consistency is so important. Like everyone thinks that success is just easy. And if you're here and you're with us, we want to say welcome and congratulations to committing to your own consistency. That's why that self 5 was for, is because you guys are committing to your best self and getting better and things are getting easier and possibly getting better at muting ourselves. I have to mute one more person real quick. Hang tight. But success really looks like a bunch of squiggly lines, and it's all good. Embrace those squiggly lines. That's where you will become better. If you feel like you've got a squiggly line, be like, yeah, I'm going to become really good at. On the other side of any squiggly line, everything gets easier. Breakthrough happens. Like I almost welcome squiggly lines. Actually, I do welcome squiggly lines right now. But if you pay attention and do the things that the people are sharing on this call, your squiggly lines will look a little bit more like this. So this is where I want to set up today's call. It's a slide we keep coming back to. I got to get one more person. Hang tight. Susan, do you want to add anything to this real quick as I'm muting a few people real quick?
Well, yeah, like I think you just talked about the path to success. And if you can relate to that path to success, I think we're on to 3s. Like drop a 3 in the chat, right? Like, and I think what I love is that there's no secret sauce to what we do. It's just really embracing, like as we go through today, I got a sneak peek of what's going to be shared by some awesome trainers today. Just what's the skill set? What's the mindset behind that skill set? And then really just that gut check. Am I in action and staying consistent with that? That's what leads to success. You know, the path can be a little messy, but I embrace it. I'm excited for what we have lined up and what our company has to offer. Absolutely.
And I love that. So I got everyone muted here. This is the time. And again, no one told you that we were ever going to have a slow time. So like this is going to be a season of planting, but like you guys are already seeing, there's no shortage of people getting, especially if you are a pro, like what we do. Like everyone that trains runs over 10,000 frontline volume and above, and they sponsor at a good rate, which means they've learned these little things and they're here to share that skill set with you that they've learned from other people. And you too can do this, and you can add your own flair because no one can be you. You can't be anyone else, and we need you to learn the steps so you can go make that impact in the world. But wherever you're at today, it's skill set plus mindset plus action plus consistency equals success. Here, we gotta mute one more person real quick. It's not letting me mute you. There we go, got it. All right.
Yeah, and Brad, I think it's over this next season is really embracing what we do today. Sometimes we see the payoff today and tomorrow, but many times it's that delayed. You're going to see, this is my ninth holiday season. So you're going to be blown away at what you're creating in January, February, and March. So kudos to those that are here today to really develop that consistency.
And so the last thing I want to say, and I thank you, Susan, is, as I was getting the last few people muted, is you're going to see growth during this season. But what I really want you guys to really commit to, and what I'm really proud of all of you guys, what we're 240 people on strong. We haven't lost anyone during this because I honestly was prepared, because the key is consistency. I was totally prepared for this number to go down because the people that stay consistent will win at this and will break through and will make the change. But back to that same reason here is the next 4 months, yes, you're going to grow over these next 2 months. But you guys really have no idea what's possible over the next 4 months. Whether you have a really vibrant business right now or you're new, your consistency over the season will lead you to something that you don't even comprehend. And you guys have probably heard me periodically talk about like 3 or 4 months. But I want you to, if you've been on our trainings before, I want you to think back to the last time I talked about the next 3 to 4 months will be a game changer in your business. And think about where you were. If you take that second to realize, oh my gosh, like I was probably not even an executive director. Now I'm an executive director. Or, oh my gosh, I was just a brand new executive director. Now I'm FIBC. Like, is it mind blowing on there? Like, if you guys take that second to read your own press and realize how much progress you're making, I don't know, just a cool way I like to start off the day. We never give ourselves enough props. So with that being said, we're going to keep diving into the skill set and the mindset and the action that creates this. I'm going to take a quick pause on this before we tune into our topics for today. But we've never done this before, but we're going over the 6 transformational habits each week that our company, basically embraces. And habit number 3 is seek growth, embrace obstacle as the way. Last week was, I'm not going to go into because we got to get started on today's topic, but this one is so many cool things that I want to talk about forever, but I got to get into today's topic. Seeking growth is a difference maker. That's what makes this call so powerful. Who would get on a call with 250 other people that are seeking growth and becoming the best version of themselves? It's powerful. And that's why what we do for others is so amazing and what we're inviting them into. And embrace obstacles as the way. Again, no one has to have a bad season this time. We are in definitely a seed planting season, but we're also still in a harvesting season. If you feel like at any point along the way during this next season, you feel like you are not getting that traction, don't quit. The obstacle is the way, especially over this next little bit. So, and Lindsay's going to be sharing a little bit later on here. But it's 7:10, so we want to get into today. Susan, we're covering health assessment pro status. Sunny's going to just drop some knowledge on you, so I hope you have your pen and paper ready. Setting up your clients for success. Jen, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how so excited I am for her to talk. Difference-making follow-up. Karen Tiros was supposed to talk about it last week, but it was actually meant for this week, judging by this last week. She'll share it with you shortly. And then building consistency on Facebook. So number 1 topic, Susan, take it over. Our presidential director and all-around amazing health coach, Susan, take it over today, and let's go into the topics.
All right, guys. You guys ready? Get that pen and paper ready. I want to share, too, we asked for this topic. I know when the poll was put out, what do we want to get better at and show up well is to learn to be a pro at a health assessment. So excited that Sunny is just going to knock this out of the park today. But what I feel when I hear health assessment is it's the start. It's the starting line. And I was watching The Voice with my daughter this last week, and Kelly Clarkson, who's a coach, right? For people that want to be masters at, they want to be a professional singer, right? That's where they want, she mentioned to them was that first note. So their first note was a little, just subpar. And she said that first note, that is what the audience remembers. That's where you capture them. That is your starting point, delivering that extraordinary, first where that's what we want to do here is we're talking about starting well today. I think of athletes, right? Like a runner, like a track star or a swimmer, that 2-second start makes all the difference. And they practice endless hundreds of hours. If anyone can relate to that, if you were an athlete and you practice your start over and over and over again, that's what we're doing today is we're becoming professionals at what we do and starting well, starting our clients well, creating that first impression well. So I'd love to introduce Sunny because she does this like a master. She's incredible at really starting her clients well. And it's the difference between developing clients that are on a diet that that are maybe not going to understand what our full offering is, and the clients that really integrate and get who we are, what we do. We develop a deep connection, and they're joining us on our mission into this new year. So Sunny, I'd love to pass it off to you. Go ahead and drop some knowledge bombs on us this morning.
Thanks, Susan. It's funny. I feel like I should start by singing. And my first note should be awesome, except it's too dang early for that. No one wants to hear me sing at this hour. So you're all welcome. Anyways, yeah, I am super excited to talk about this today, mainly because I feel like it is one of the key places that I have had to seek growth. Because when I first started, I wasn't so hot at the health assessment. And I wanted to be, but I'm going to start sharing my screen here. The truth is, when I first got that packet of health assessments in the mail, what I did was I saw it and I was really excited. And then immediately I got a little bit nervous because I'm like, I have to know all of this stuff. And I felt like I had to be like this super pro coach when I had all of that. And so it felt a little bit intimidating. And so for you, if you're still at that place where you're like, hey, the health assessment is a bit intimidating, I want you to know you're in good company. This is part of the squiggly line. We're all growing together, and it can be nerve-wracking. But you know what? We can learn as we seek growth. We can learn that actually the health assessment can be really fun. It doesn't need to be, sometimes we actually overcomplicate the health assessment. And so we're going to break this down in bite-sized pieces today. And I really think if you grab a hold of one of these, we're going to see growth, and it's not going to be as scary if that's the camp you find yourself in today. So one thing that I put here is that our integrating coaches and clients, it starts before they begin the program. It's that first note that Susan was talking about. Health assessments are key to that integration. And what you'll see is what we've got to do before we even begin a health assessment, it's about our posture. If you go in and you rock your health assessment and you've got the wrong posture, then you're not going to get the result that you're aiming at. So you have to set your mindset, right? We're talking about success here, being mindset the first thing. You've got to set your mindset before you even pick up the phone or get on the Zoom. And I put it here this way of check yourself before you wreck yourself, right? Don't walk into a call and walk in and be all that like, okay, it's time to prove that I'm a rock star coach. And so here it comes, or worse, what we end up doing is we go in with that intimidation and we're afraid and we're thinking, what if they don't say yes? And you know what? What if they don't say yes? Big deal. Move on to the next one. They'll be back. So take the pressure off yourself. Get your mindset into a place of being confident. How can you be confident? Well, you already know this program works. It's why you're a coach. So you can have the confidence of putting yourself in that posture of knowing, man, I have got some dang hope to offer people. And no matter what they say on the other end of this call, it doesn't matter. They can't talk me out of my personal testimony on this program. So you put yourself in a confident posture walking in. Also, be curious. This call is about them. It's not about you so much. It is about them. And this means that we're actually going to have to do some digging when we're on these calls, because sometimes the gold, sometimes their why is really buried and they're not going to give it to you right away. So we're going to put ourselves in a posture of being confident and being curious. And I'm just going to be honest with you and just own where my growth has been. Is my first round of going through health assessments, my mistake was believing it was about showing off my coaching knowledge. That was the posture I came in with. That's why I was intimidated, because I didn't quite know what I was doing, and I was linking arms with my support team. But I thought that the posture I had to go in with was, I have to show off my coaching knowledge. And the growth that I learned by linking arms with my support team was that I had to shift, that this was about building relationships and connections. And then, like we always hear Becca Tinter say in videos, the other piece of the posture is just don't be weird. Don't be a weirdo. Like, don't be Susie salesperson or salesy Sam. Don't be weird. Live like you have something to offer, because you do, and you know it. So get yourself in the right posture before you even pick up the phone. Then, and you'll see, I just put a health assessment right there on your screen. If you have one next to you, great. Maybe jot some notes along the side of it so you have a sample of what we're talking about here. But we have the intro there for a purpose. That intro is about helping you not be weird. If you pick up that phone and you're like, you jump in immediately to, tell me why you wanted to reach out to me. They're like, that's just awkward. Immediately they're in a defensive posture because now you're just trying to sell me something. And remember, integrating clients is about what we do on this call. So if you just make it about sales and you come in right on, like, they're just going to think, look, it's just about a diet. So do an intro. Be personable, build relationships. Susan, can you relate to this? Have you ever seen people be awkward in this intro? Or have you ever had to grow through this?
Yeah, and it's just a little bit of a skill set, that minor tweak. You're doing such an excellent job just posturing, like showing up ourselves. So awesome. Yeah.
Totally. And it's not something that needs to be scary or overcomplicated. We're talking 2 seconds can shift the posture of that call. It's like, hey, Susan, how are you doing today? I am so excited to connect with you. I noticed on Facebook, you and your family have been out doing a bunch of fun things. I love seeing all of that on Facebook. And then you're shifting into, I'm so excited we get to connect today. And I want to ask you a couple questions about your health because we're going to tailor a program that works just for you. You are going to love this. So it's that simple. We don't have to overcomplicate the intro, but be personable, ease your way in. And then we jump in. And this is where we're going to spend the most of our time today, is the awaken section of this health assessment. This is super important. Now, again, I'll take you back to that posture as this is about them. It's not about you. It's not about you showing off your coaching skills. This is about them. And we awaken people more with our ears than we do with our mouths. What do I mean by that? We awaken people more with our ears by listening for them. We're digging for gold, remember? And we are trying to listen and go, what is happening inside of them? What's happening in their voice inflections? When are they maybe trying to hide something? You can see this in their body language, which is also a great reason to do health assessments on Zoom, because you can kind of see their posture and when these things shift. But you're awakening with your ears and then asking really good questions, more than with our mouths. And I put this here because I had to learn this. I remember Mike, my coach, having to tell me this of where I had to grow on health assessments is a simple concept. Sonny, on your health assessments, you need to zip it. I am a chick that has the gift of gab. And so if I was going in with the posture of showing off my coaching skills, then I am talking way too much. And so I had to learn this principle of just zip it and learn to listen. Remember, we're digging, we're listening intently, we're asking good questions. I saw this today from Stephen Covey. I thought this was awesome. The biggest communication problem is that we do not listen to understand. We listen to reply. And I just want to say, boom, that is magic. If we can learn this as coaches, if we can learn to be people who are listening to understand our clients and understand our pre-clients, instead of listening to reply, we will change things because we're actually going to be able to dig in and awaken them. So when we're talking about this just directly on the health assessment, I kind of want to show you what I mean by this is what do I mean by digging is like, okay, what's she talking about? Well, it's like in this question, what would it mean to you to be at a healthy weight or a healthy place again? What would that mean to you? And I remember just this week, someone said to me, well, I'd feel a little bit more confident and I'd have more energy back. And I could hear her body, her posture. I could see her change. I could hear her voice. And she said, and I could wear lucky jeans. And then she goes, that's stupid. And I said, wait a second. And I could tell it was important to her because I was listening to understand. And I said, tell me a little bit about those lucky jeans. It sounds to me like that's important to you. She goes, it's so stupid and surfacey. And I said, it's not stupid. You brought it up. Because remember, I'm listening to reply. I'm not listening to reply. I'm listening to understand her. And she said, when I was in high school, and this is a lady in her 50s, when I was in high school, everybody was buying the lucky jeans. And I was the chunky girl who couldn't buy them. And I was embarrassed. And I just wanted to be a girl who could wear them. And today I still carry that with me. I want to be a girl who, if I wanted to wear lucky jeans, I could. And so I knew we had something. I knew that those lucky jeans were something that as a coach, I could bring her back to time and time again to remind her why this matters, to remind her that she can be the girl in the lucky jeans if she makes choices to walk there. And so, but you know what? Oftentimes in my history, if I was listening to reply, I would have missed out on something. I'd have been like, oh yeah. I wouldn't even have written lucky jeans on here. I'd have listened to like more energy. She wants more energy. She wants more. But if I'm listening to understand what matters to her, if we're listening to truly understand people, we're going to hear those cues and we're going to grow. And here's the thing. If you've been missing doing this stuff, it's totally okay. That's why you're here. We're seeking growth. And the more you do health assessments, the more you will grow and get better at these things. I am just figuring out this stuff. So what is being a pro? It's being a person willing to continue to seek growth. And that's what we're all right. That's the only thing that makes me a pro is because I'm continuing to seek growth. So, I mean, Susan could probably teach me a ton on this too. So, so my mistake, and I guess I already went there, but coach talks, we as the coach, we only talk when we're seeking clarity. That's when we're talking, is seeking clarity, digging deeper like I did with the lady with the lucky jeans. I'm also speaking when I'm validating or affirming or painting a picture. Quick, I put these on this bullet here. When I'm speaking, I'm saying things like, hey, Brad, it sounds like it sounds like your shirt is really important to you. It sounds like that daily commitment to consistency is really important to you. Am I hearing you correct, right? Because I'm seeking to understand. It sounds like, and if you bring that, I am telling you, people feel heard and they realize the call is about them because I'm trying to make sure that I actually heard them correctly, because sometimes we project our own stories onto them. And so it's really important that we say things like, am I hearing you correctly? Am I understanding you correctly? And then we're leaning in and we're painting a picture. What I mean by that is, now I've heard her correctly. I can see you now, Susan. Man, you have worked hard. You're linking arms. We're walking to the finish line. And you are filled with joy. And you and I, we go shopping and you buy yourself those dang lucky jeans. Heck, and they are the cutest dang lucky jeans ever. And then we're going to go out dancing because you've been living in isolation. And you are going to go out dancing because that's what you want to do. And together, can you imagine the joy you would feel in that moment? And then she's like, oh my gosh, now I've awakened to a new picture. I'm no longer fearful of being that girl who's looking at all the other girls. I am that girl. And then I say to her, this is the thing, Susan, you've always been that girl. You already are her. You've just gotten buried underneath some layers. Are you excited to link arms, Ann? I sure am excited to link arms. That is the only reason I'm really speaking as a coach, is to validate, to seek to understand, and to paint a picture of what is possible for them. Because honestly, so many people, they have forgotten what is possible. They can't even picture it. All they can picture is the negative, the lack of energy, the sluggishness, all of that. And I put it this way here, when we get to their why, that magical why, the how is a no-brainer. They don't even care what else you got. They want in because their why is clear and you've painted a picture. You park it on this awaken section and you be masterful at this. I am telling you, it will rock your business because your health assessments will start turning into clients even quicker. And then I do want to say, just an important, as we click the next slide here, don't bypass their bravery. Remember, when people go to the deep level about telling you about their lucky genes, that just took some dang balls. Excuse my language. Sorry. Too early to say that kind of, it took some courage and some guts. I'm sorry, I just slipped out. I need more coffee. Don't bypass their bravery. Say to them, thank you for trusting me with this. I just want to acknowledge that you just got brave, Susan, by sharing that with me. Thank you for trusting me. Again, this is because now I'm building relationship with them in these moments. And remember, I'm integrating them before we even get started. I didn't even make it about their weight. I'm acknowledging them. I'm building relationship with them. I'm showing what it's like to do life with a coach, somebody who's going to acknowledge yourself and celebrate, somebody who's going to help them to realize when they're brave, I'm there to high five them. So don't bypass their bravery. Then we go into the daily routine and habits. Actually, I'll stop there for just 1 second. Susan, did you have anything you wanted to add to that awaken section?
I think I'm all in. I'm like, all right, where do I sign up? And I think it's like writing that a little bit that momentum and feeling that peak in your conversation with them. And sometimes we let the momentum drag on too long. We go, and what I mean by that is the call's going on longer and longer. When they were ready at 10 minutes, like the Lucky Jeans, you got me. Like it's time to, move that call on and forth because they're ready to go. And so I love that because you have me at the peak of like a momentum myself and just wanting to get started on this journey with you.
Yeah. And I think that's really great point there, Susan, is I'm totally getting some feedback. Can you hear that? I think it's such a great point there is don't belabor this either. Is like, don't just so many digging questions. And this is an art form. You'll begin to learn this the more that you do so that you're not going on and on and on. Because sometimes the other catch-22 here is we can ask not enough questions and kind of let them give us a surfacey answer, or we can just keep digging when they're already ready. So that is why it's key to listen, to understand, and to be leaning in to let them kind of lead the call while you're in the leadership seat, but listen to when they're ready and then don't dig any deeper. And then, when you're sharing your story, this is, before I jump into the daily habits, when you're sharing their story, your story at the part here is this is where we're tempted as coaches to go on and on and on. If you've already gotten them, this story is, man, I can totally relate. I am so excited. You're going to love this program. I found that I gained more energy. I lost the 54 pounds and I too am wearing Lucky Jeans now. So this is going to be amazing. And then move on. Don't be like, I remember when I was 14 years old, I was, sitting there and I was wondering about the ice cream. And then I was, don't start telling your life story here. Listen to share. You're using your story to validate theirs. So listen for cues in them of how your story relates to theirs. Again, that's going to be about building relationship, but we're talking like just a really quick blurb because most of them probably already know your story. They've been watching you on Facebook. Remember, if we're doing our social media, they're watching some of those bits of your story. So just kind of use highlights. And then this daily habit and routine section, you know what? This is a part where this is what I mean by this is where I was kind of nervous as a coach. I saw this and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to know about sleep, hydration, motion, stress, eating habits, and all of their weight. What am I going to do about this? And then, you go to the medical section and I was like in overwhelm because I didn't know what I was doing. But guys, just ask the questions. Don't overthink this section. Just ask the questions, listen to them. Sometimes actually in the awaken section, they're digging over here. They're telling you, I'm not sleeping. So don't feel like you have to do it all in order. Like they're telling you they're not sleeping, then go over that part and write that down in that section. You don't have to hit that then. You've already heard about their sleep. If they're talking to you about their high levels of stress already in their awaken section, then don't re-hit them. You already know how stressed they are. You can already hear somebody who's got a stress level of 10. So go, don't overcomplicate these, just ask the questions. And sometimes by just asking the question, walk me through a day in your life. They'll hit these habits. They'll start telling you some of these things. And then you can kind of interject those along the way. And this is the cool thing is they're kind of coming in and they might be feeling like crap because they just told you all of the places that they're not doing well. So listen for maybe one or two places that you can affirm a good habit. Like, you know what, Sunny, I'm really not doing well in every other area, but I'm actually drinking water. And you're like, that's great. We can use that as momentum in your health journey as building off of that habit. You know what I mean? Just lean in and look for places to affirm some good habits in that process. And I guess I already said that sometimes they give this away in the awaken section. Health consideration section of this. Okay, again, you are not a medical professional. And we don't expect you to be a medical professional. You're a health coach. So in this health consideration, again, it's about asking the questions. Now, we are listening for something. We're listening for thyroid. We're listening for diabetes. We're listening for some of those things. But if they are this person who is like listening to you, I remember when I first started this, oh my goodness, I would write every medication down. There was like 400. Some people be like, I'm on this and I'm on this. And I'm like, can I get the spelling of that? And I'm panicking, writing everything down as though I know what the heck to do with that medication. Like what am I doing with this, right? And when I start hearing a ton of medications, you guys, literally, that's when you say something like this. Good. It sounds like you're linking arms with your doctor and you've got some care there. And I just want you to know, I am not a medical professional. So I want you to continue to stay connected to your doctor. That's going to be really important in your health journey. I'm a coach. And here's the thing. You are not a doctor, so you don't need to be. Optavia is not trying to make you a doctor, right? You are focused on food. And while we know it's more than that, you know how to eat food. You can tell people how to handle this, right? Like, don't overcomplicate the medical health considerations part. Don't let it intimidate you. And then, so I put, we're not medical professionals. When in doubt, check it out. If you have this funky feeling that maybe you're putting them on a program that they're like, well, food affects me this way, then call nutrition support. That's the great piece of what we have is you are in a community yourself. Reach out and ask. Use your Facebook support group. Call nutrition support. Ask the question when you're in doubt, and then get them started on a program. Get them connected to their doctor. But don't overcomplicate this. Just ask the questions. And then the share part. This is exciting. When you do the awakening, all is well. When you do the awakening, this piece is easy. Don't overcomplicate this. I'll very quickly roll through this and then we'll be done with this. But there's 4 components of our program. It goes as simple as this. We've got 4 components of our program, and you are absolutely going to love this. The 4 components is your coach, someone to link arms with you on the journey. I'm going to be here to celebrate you. I'm going to be here to remind you of your why. Then we've got the Habits of Health system. It's created by Dr. Wayne Anderson. It's absolutely incredible. It's a lifestyle approach to lifelong transformation, and it's going to give you these habits just one at a time and just going to help give you a bite-sized pieces as you walk along. And then we have community. Man, you are going to love our community. Our community is done through, we've got resources on calls. We have got a support community on Facebook, and we have got support all over the place with people, with like-minded people walking in their journey. And the last thing people call me about is the fuelings themselves. Pretty awesome. Portion controlled meal replacements. We're talking when you get your whole program, you are getting all of the vitamins and minerals, added probiotics. And when you work your full program, all 4 components are important. I want to remind you of that, because if you only choose one of these, if you just do the fuelings, you will lose weight. But if I know you are a woman who wants to head into lifelong transformation, so I want to encourage you to use all 4 components of our program as I get you started. See how I'm already assuming they're saying yes. And then this is the invite, right? When you get that awaken section down, this is just bringing the boom. You already have them. They're already ready. Remember your posture in this moment. Be confident. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Don't lead with fear of finances. Like, oh my gosh, what if they say no to me? Oh, well, then you know what? You'll get them later. Just invite them. Bring them back to their why in the invite, right? It's just like, hey, I am so excited. Are you ready to get started? And let's start a journey together of walking you towards those lucky genes. I can't even believe it. I am so excited. It's the perfect plan for you. Are you ready to get started? And internally, I'm saying to myself, heck, yes, they are. That's what I'm leading with. I'm not leading with I hope they say yes, because that will come through my voice. I'm leading with heck yes, boom, let's get you started today. And that is contagious. The way you posture your calls will leak through the entire thing. So that's kind of like bring the boom. And what I will say just in closing here, if you are doing a lot of health assessments and they are not turning into clients over and over and over and over, do not hesitate to bring your support team back in. Remember, we seek growth and we embrace obstacles as the way, which means we say, hey, coach, could you come back on my health assessments and see how I'm doing? I could use a little troubleshooting. And that's that.
Well, I'm going to resist the urge of highlighting like every piece of that part because that's what I want to do. I love that, the fear we may have because we're making it all about us goes away when we're really just clear that this call is really all about them. And I love that you said only talk when seeking clarity. And I think what you modeled so well in that section is when we're doing a health assessment, like actually, Sunny, how long would you say most of your health assessments go? Like what's kind of your...
I would say most of them are, a good average is about like 25 to 30 minutes. If I'm going up at the 45-minute mark, I know I've probably talked too much or I haven't been directing the call enough.
Awesome. Me too, right? And I think that that's a skill set. I have the gift of gab as well. And I have my own accountability right on my phone, because if you look at your phone, it tells you how long you've been on that phone call, right? Like a little timer saying, Susan, be quiet, like move on. And so you did a great job. You spent most of that on the awakening. And did you guys see she could share the 4 components in like a minute or less? That was stellar. And so just making it more about them and what they want, and then with a really strong invite at the end. So I love it, because we're gonna move on from there. First is really, you're gonna have people that absolutely say yes. And like Sunny made a good call out there, that if you're doing a lot, if you're in action, but you're not getting the results you want, definitely work with your support team to fine tune that. But you're also gonna have some people that are just not yet. So Karen's gonna go over what we do there, but we're gonna have Jen pop in, share with us when people say yes and what we do next. And I'm so excited for Jen to share on this section. Just a little about her. She's been coaching for a while, but I feel like last year, maybe Jen, you can share just a piece of your story. You were doing the work, but you weren't getting the results, and you felt like it was harder than it should be, right? And you made a few tweaks, a little shifts and adjustments, and your business has doubled in the last year. And it's really just from, doing the work, but doing the right work, showing up, being consistent, and staying in action. So excited for you to share and kind of share from that point they say yes, and how we integrate them early on. You guys, this is part of that first note. So Jen, I'm gonna pass it to you.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. And yes, so I want to say, you know what I did a year ago? I started following the systems. Brad and I were talking about this earlier. Like literally, instead of 95%, I did 100% of the systems. So, Sunny, that was so good, so good. And I love that, once you get this down, the same kind of things are echoed again and again. And in my little couple of minutes here, you'll all hear me say some of the same words that Sunny did, like this. So if you're new, just like Sunny said, if anything that we end up talking about, you're like, oh shoot, I wasn't doing that, or I didn't know we were supposed to do that. It's okay. Those of us that have been doing this a while, sometimes it takes us years to like really dial in the little tweaks. So just reach out to your mentor, and there's no better time to start following the systems than today with the next client. Follow the system. So like Sunny said, she said, it's okay to feel panic. So we've all had that panic. Like they said, yes. Oh shoot. Now what do I do? So we're going to talk about that for a few minutes here. First, exactly like what Sunny said also, everything, your mindset is everything. Be confident. You are the health coach. And even if you don't feel confident, know that you have a team of mentors. If you're new, that's how we do this. We have a mentorship style training. And so you may not personally feel super confident, but know that together, you and your mentorship team can help you be confident and take the right steps. Remember that it is our job to serve our clients and set them up for success. And the best way to do that is to follow the systems. I found this little comic here. It says, nah, I don't think it'll work. Let's try something different, something smarter, something cooler. We all are so fortunate to have had leaders come before us who have bigger businesses, who have been doing this longer, and they, out of the goodness of their hearts, have created this simple system of all the things they've learned over the last, however many years that have worked best for them. And so it is in our best interest, and it is in your client's best interest to listen to what they're trying to tell you what works. So just do it. And then the last thing I put on this slide is what I love about this like gap time. So I'm talking to you about the time between when they say yes and the day that they start. You have an opportunity to blow your clients' minds. Sunny said, remember, there are 4 components to our program. If you followed the system and followed what Sunny just taught, you've talked about 4 components. There's only 1 coming in the mail. You can start those other 3 right away. And so we're going to talk about that. So, okay, what to do before hanging up? First, you want to tell them how excited you are for them. You want to go over what happens now. They've never done this before. They don't know what to expect. They're probably nervous. They just told you that they wanted to fit in the lucky jeans. They might have cried. Their heart is out and they're vulnerable and they are nervous. So you want to help them understand you've got this and here's what the next steps are. Just lay it out. So tell them you will, on their behalf, set them up as a client in the system and get their program on the way. That's something that we do for all new clients, a service added. So collect their information, obviously the details, the shipping, the email, the cell phone, form of payment. There's a spot right on the back of your health assessment to put all that in, except for, of course, their credit card. Let them know you'll be sending a series of texts and videos starting the day you order today. I take a second right at this time to let them know because we've just had a heart-to-heart over the last 20 minutes. And I'll say something to the effect of, hey, now that we know each other, you'll recognize that these texts aren't in my personal rhythm of speech. One of the things I love about Optavia is that they provide us coaches with these amazing set of duplicatable tools to use to help us support our clients well. And that frees up my time to build a relationship and support you. Kind of a little plug for how easy it is to be a coach. It also then, when they get those first texts and it doesn't sound like you, they understand why. And then, of course, let them know that even though you didn't write them, the reason you use them the way they are is because they're gold. So read them and watch the videos. They're not long videos, but they're amazing. Let them know you'll be adding them to your client page and your newsletter. Let them know you'll be inviting them to the Habits of Health call that's following the next Wednesday. And then also take a second and go over what they can expect from you the first week, excuse me, which is, again, the daily text in the mornings and then following up with like a 5-minute phone call check-in in the afternoon or the evening. I say the words 5 minutes because some people are super chatters and you don't want to be on an hour-long call every night the first week or you won't be able to support 30 clients, right? And then after the first week, there's weekly check-ins. Also take this opportunity to just throw in there that, hey, by the way, people will be noticing quickly even by the end of that first week. And as they do, just know that we will help them together. I don't go on and on at that point about what that looks like. Just, I want them to know that we've got this together. We can bring their family and friends on board one way or another. And then bring them back to the lucky gene moment. Say, we're going to have you in those jeans in no time. And then say, I'll be in touch super, super fast. Okay, what to do after hanging up? So you, like I said, you always order the program. Always, always, always order with the Habits of Health system. Look for that little circle in the corner. There's a bunch of choices, but just make sure you pick one that has the Habits of Health system. Always use the password welcome1 exclamation. Why do we do that? Because it's duplicatable, because you can always remember it, and because if you're using the daily text threads, when it teaches them how to order month 2, it says, by the way, your password is welcome1 exclamation point. Write down, you'll get an email when their order processes with their ID. Write their ID down on their health assessment. Add their form to your binder, and then go to your Facebook page and welcome them in. Use a picture, like, you'll have people comment, say congrats, welcome, welcome. It's really neat that they get involved right away. Remember, community is one of those pillars. And then start the text campaign immediately. This is a screen capture from my phone. I have shortcutted all of the text messages. If you don't know how to do that, reach out to your mentor. There's a little video that shows you how to do that. It'll be a huge time saver for you. So shoot them that congrats, thank you for joining, the very first one. And then the welcome email. And then I go to Optavia Share and add them to my contacts because I use the e-newsletter there. And if you're not using that yet, it's okay. Reach out to your mentor. These are just all the things that that I do that I find makes it easy and duplicatable. The newsletter is amazing. So if you want to use it, please do. It's free too. All right. Now, while they wait, so depending on where in the country they live, that wait time could be 2 days, it could be 4 days, depending on what time of month they order and what time of year they are. It could be all the way up to a week. This is when we're going back to blowing their minds and integrating them into those other 3 pillars. So there are more text messages to use. In those next couple of text messages is Dr. Anderson's Stop Challenge Choose book, which is so good to read. Also, there is a little quiz to take to give them a baseline about their health. And then most of the time, my clients will text me their numbers at the end of that and write that on their health assessment too. Invite them to the next Habits of Health call on Wednesday. You will get an email when their program ships out with the tracking number. What's good about that is that when you click the tracking number, you'll see what day it arrives. And then that 4th text message has a little blank for you to write down. It says, congratulations, your program arrives. And then you would put Saturday or today sometimes. And then that's the text message that goes over all the little things that will really set them up for success, like the food scale, the human scale for them, taking measurements and a before picture. It prompts them for the PDF for the Optavia guide to save on their phone. At the very end, it says, what day have you chosen to start, with a question mark. So they'll reply saying tomorrow, or the day after it arrives, or Monday, or whatever they say. Write it on your form. And then that's when I take this opportunity to go into my calendar and I schedule in the next 7 days of text messages. Remember, I had the D1, D2, D3.
Hey, Jen, I'm going to pop in here for a second. This is so good, and I love the way you've laid out just like how, I mean, you have boys, you have a full schedule, so it's so key, like how you keep this simple and how this is integrated your clients. There's a couple questions in the chat here, so just clarifying that Optavia sends the welcome email. You're talking about that first text that you send that says that they placed their order. As soon as you get off, like after all those things you've done, you send that first text that basically says, congratulations, your order was placed. And Optavia sends them their welcome email. Like, so we don't have an email send, but we send that first welcome text.
And it says in the text in that thread, it says first message to client. Those first 4 actually say first message, second message, third message, fourth message. Yes.
So for all of you new coaches that are out there, so like this is something you can connect on with your coaches. Jen has very intelligently like programmed pre-predictive text. So she can just type in D1 and it'll fill in the text. There's also other ways you can do it. Like I have the daily text link on the home screen of my phone right here. And you can do it that way. Honestly, I have a Mac, so I can send all text messages from my phone. So I just have the screen open and I just copy and send it off in the morning before. So whatever works for you is just have a system. And hopefully you're using your daily text. If you're a new coach, you're going to be practicing this with your support team. So the main thing is there are text messages that guide your clients into integration. I love what you said there, Jen, about just like you send it to them, they're prefacing it, you let them know that they were coming, so now they know how to interact with it, and it really ups the engagement through I mean, they're engaged and integrated before they even receive their fuelings. How much did that make a difference for you with your clients when you started getting really good at sending the text messages and letting them know that they were going to be coming on the health assessment?
It made a big difference. And you know where it made a difference was in client retention, because during that health assessment, you talk about this is more than a diet. And in order to really make it more than a diet, you need to integrate them into the other pillars, and you want them to stick around. You want them to change their life. And the way they do that is to integrate into those other pillars. Thanks, Brad, for the text clarification. And then, of course, the day before they begin, there's an amazing text to send. It has a couple of good videos. Schedule that call. Posture professionalism, meaning like it's really very important that they watch those videos before you have the night before call. And I think we're going to talk about that on another time, maybe next week or later. And then, so lastly,
we will be talking about that, Jen, but what you do is like, because this is so important, like you'll probably kind of like overlap over the next few weeks, because this, like Susan said, this is the first note. This is their, like the clarity you get and the feeling that you give to people. It is the tone setter for this. Would you go over that, like how important, like how you're not a boss, but you are the guide and you've clarified. Would you go all the way up to like real quick, just how you set up that first call? So you've sent the welcome text. you've gone through the text, you've sent the check out the page, you've sent the, hey, your order arrives, let me know what day you want to start text, and they've texted you. So how do you set up that night before a call? Because that's where we're going to pick up next week. So what do you do on that one that sets them up for so much success before they have their first fueling that night before?
Well, I assure that they've watched that video, really, and that they have their guide in front of them before we talk. And I have, on occasion, if someone, like, I'll send a text reminder, say, hey, we're calling in a half an hour, have you watched the video? And occasionally they'll say, no, I haven't had a chance yet. And I'll say, please watch it now. It's important. You don't want to be bossy, but you need to stress that it really, truly is in their best interest to watch that video. Those videos are everything. And I've had clients rewatch the video after they watch it. So there has been times when I call them at 7:30 at night and they say, I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. I know that video is about 8 minutes long. So I'll say, hey, why don't you watch it right now? And I'll call you back in 8 minutes. Because I don't want them to be, you're a professional health coach. And so you wouldn't show up to any other appointment not prepared. You wouldn't expect to show up to the doctor and have them not have any of their equipment. It's important to posture that your time is valuable and you expect them to respect that, and so they need to take those couple of minutes to watch the video. That it sets the tone, I think. And like I said, you don't want to be bossy or mean. You just really want to let them know it's in their best interest to watch that video. Is that kind of what you meant, Brad?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're the guide. They came to you. Like, this is one thing that kind of helped my mindset on this. And I know this is mostly for the new coaches online. Like the pros, they get, like Sunny, you talked about mindsets, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Did they lose 50 pounds or whatever your story is? Did they contact you? You don't want to do anything that doesn't set them up for success. I love that you said that, because you're not the boss, but you're confident in what you're guiding them. You need, my favorite quote from my mom, who's my coach, my business coach, Terry Moore, she's genius, is don't be afraid to tell people what you need from them to help them be successful. Be loving, be caring. Think about the energy Sunny just talked about when she was going through the health assessment. Show up with that confidence to guide them and make that difference. They will respect your time and they will respect their journey. So you want to do this for their own success. And because also when you send the video, it goes over all the hows and whats. You get to literally just show up and be in a relationship with them. You get to bypass all the hows and whats and get into the, oh my gosh, it's going to be so cool. Oh my gosh, blah, 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 blah. You get to jump right back into the lucky gene conversation because they've got the hows and the what. It sets you up for success. And this is the tone setter, like Susan talked about, Sunny, Susan, everyone's like an S today, is that tone is going to go forward from there. So I love it. So good. Anything you want to say as you kind of wrap up here? Because we want to get to the follow-up and wrap up this call on time.
No, really, I think that's about it. Just love on them during that time. Don't let the gas off. They threw their heart out on the table when you had your health assessment, and now is the time for you to take the opportunity to begin your speed of trust with them, that you care about their overall health, and that it is not all about the fuelings. So take this time to follow the system and integrate your clients.
Got it. Jen, super amazing. I love it. So much clarity. And you can tell that this is the difference maker over time. So if you're new at this, practice this. I love everything you went over here. And there's a lot of questions in the chat because you definitely piqued some interest with people being like, how do I do the newsletter? How do I do this text campaign? How do I program? These are all the hows and whats. I want you guys to really just stay with the main point of what she's posturing. We can figure out those details later of those. And we'll definitely train to the newsletter later, but stay with us on the pieces that are going to make the fundamental change, like follow-up. So Susan, we're going to jump into Karen sharing some tips. We didn't have time for her last week. She's going to share some tips on follow-up that make the difference. So I'm just going to jump into it because we want to finish up on time here. Karen, jump up and share some gold. You weren't even, I remember when I met you at Go Global for the first time, you were barely brand new coaching, and now you're running over 16,000, 17,000 frontline volume. And you are so good at follow-up. Teach us your gold on how you do this.
Okay, I'm gonna try to be quick because I know I can talk a lot on this, but basically, there's several types of follow-up that we can do. I do the 3, 3, and 3. I look for people who are interactive with me. When those people are interactive with me, they go on my list. Then it's all about kind of what I would call relational follow-up. You don't want to be like, if somebody's communicating with you, you don't want to like throw it out there and say, hey, I see you need to lose weight. You want to talk? You know, you need to build a relationship with people over time and slowly. That's what it's all about. And it takes patience. So obviously like the 3, 3, and 3, you know, if somebody, it doesn't matter if they ask you about the program. You just watch to see who's communicating with you, and then you work at just communicating back with them. That can be as simple as liking posts and commenting on posts on their page, asking questions, etc. Not, you know, putting it out there like, hey, I'm a health coach, you know, looks like you can use me. Because I know we've probably all connected with people on Facebook, and if the first message you get back from them is, hey, go like my page, I sell paparazzi jewelry, and you should coach, and you should sell it, and da-da-da-da. That turns me off immediately. Like, I'm not even going to communicate with them because I know they just are trying to sell me something. So that's not what we're about. We're all about relationships and building trust and getting to know people and getting to know what's important to them. And that takes time. So the 3 and 3 and 3, yes, you want to do that. You want to pay attention to who is commenting on your post, who's liking your stuff, and you want to make a note of who is interacting with you, and you want to communicate with them on a weekly basis, just like your intentional list. You want to be talking to people on your intentional list every single week. And that doesn't mean you have to PM them every single week. It just means you can go comment. You can ask them a question. If you see something interesting on their page, try to interact with them just on a normal level, like on a relational level. So you're building trust and relationship with them, not because you're trying to sell them something, but just because you're genuinely interested in that person and what they're doing. So that's what I call relational follow-up. In terms of the health assessments, if you do a health assessment with somebody and they say no, we always say that's not yet. And, I know I've heard many people say before, the win is doing the health assessment. If they have taken the time to get on the phone with you and talk to you, then you know that somewhere down deep, they know they need this and they just may not be ready. So that's where follow-up really comes into play. And that is not so then that's a combination of what we would call relational and direct follow-up. So you keep in communication with the person. You check in with them. Well, first, let me back up. If you're on a health assessment and the person says not yet, then right then and there, you schedule a follow-up call. So for me, if they say I'm not ready, then I say, I understand you need to think about it. Let me follow up with you. And I always set 2 days later. So if it's a Monday, can I follow up with you on Monday? I'll give you a call and see if you have any questions. And then immediately I go to the transformation stories that is so awesome now. Like that Facebook page is amazing. I go to the transformation stories to share. I look for a story that's similar to what they told me. So, all about what is their why. I look for something that's similar. I then message them on Facebook, and I don't make it weird. I just say, hey, this is one of our other coaches' clients and her story, and this just really sounded like you. And I send them that. And then that just kind of gives them a little hope, and then I may follow up with a story on my own Facebook page that may be similar, because they're watching you at that point. So that's like indirect follow-up. You're listening to what their why was, you're listening to what's important to them, and you're following up with posts that hit their why. And it's not like being underhanded, it's just you're letting them know, look, you're not alone. There are other people out there with the same situation that have gotten free from that with this program. So you do that. So I follow up with the transformation story, and then I'll follow up with an email sometimes, just giving them a little bit more information, giving them encouragement. 2 days later, I'm on the phone calling them. You put it in your calendar, you follow up with them, you call them, say, hey, I just wanted to check in with you and see if you have any questions I can answer for you, or if you're ready to get started. And if they're like asking you questions, you answer their questions. If they're like, I'm not ready yet, no problem. Do you mind if I follow up with you again a little bit later? And then if they're ready, you get them going. Sometimes they won't answer. If they don't answer, I text them, hey, just check it. Say the same thing I do on the phone, message or whatever, just text it to them. So that's where the relationship then begins with that person. And you continue to just stay in relationship with them. So just a little story I want to share. 2 things that happened to me this week, just so you know that there's like actually hope with this stuff. I did a health assessment on October 17th of 2017 with a lady. I kept in contact with her. I did not make it weird. We talked, we would just communicate through Facebook periodically. I will say, whenever we were offering a scholarship or whatever, this is hard follow-up. When there's a scholarship coming up or whatever, or if I want to do my own scholarship, whatever, for some reason, I would contact them, each of these people that I've done health assessments with, I'd contact them directly and say, hey, I don't know if it's the right time for you yet, but I just want to let you know we have a scholarship opportunity, and can we chat? I won't be pushy about it, but I offer the scholarship every single time it comes out to that person. So I did that with this woman for 1 year. She contacted me this past week and said, I'm ready. And she signed up. So a whole year later of just talking and communicating, same thing happened with another client this week. I did the health assessment in April. Continued to keep in touch with her. Every time we had a scholarship or whatever, I would message her and just say, not sure if this is the right time, but just want to let you know we have a scholarship opportunity now through whatever, I give the date. If you're ready, just let me know. And she reached out to me this week too and said, I'm ready, let's go. So follow-up is everything. And you don't give up, and you don't make it weird. You just build a relationship with people and you just talk to them over time. And if you've done a health assessment with them, I used to not believe this when I first started coaching. It's just it's just a matter of when they're going to come back. So I think that's it. I don't want to blab on too long, but there you go.
Karen, I can tell you're a pro at this. You have a system. It's dialed into your schedule. And nothing happens out of the blue. It's because you were consistent this last year. So typically when someone goes, out of the blue, someone called me and got ready, got started this week, I'll say, well, tell me what, the process. If I was to ask the process beforehand, you could probably dive into all the follow-up that happened, all the little touch points to bring them closer to a yes. So I love that. In fact, if you're just to prove a point here, the people in the chat put a 1, 2, 8, 12. How many times did it take and follow up for you to say yes to get started on your journey, just to see what it really looks like for even these world changer health coaches on the call. So I'm going to ask, I'm seeing it all pop in here, for, maybe another 8 to 10 minutes of your time. It may not be that, but I'm just going to ask for you guys to hang with us this morning, because we, I want to wrap up and I want to give you guys some solid tips. And we have Lindsay coming on to kind of prep us for next week of what's to come, but also she has some solid ideas for Facebook. And we know that social media, you guys, is an amazing platform that we're able to use. So Lindsay, I'd love for you to just kind of pop in, give us some golden nuggets to wrap up our morning today. And I hope you guys are able to just hang with us for a little bit longer. You guys good with that? If you're good with that, high five in the chat. Okay.
I think, and Susan, I'm going to jump in real quick here, actually. We are getting the 5 in the chat, but you know what, actually? We want to really respect your time today. There was so much gold here. Susan, you dropped just so much knowledge on top of these. We've got Sonny's such good on the health assessment. Jen, obviously a game changer in how you start clients. and then all the way to like follow-up care, and so many great examples. So what we want to do here today is I want to wrap a pretty bow on this call. If you want to stay on, Lindsay will be talking next week, so she'll drop some of this knowledge. But if you want to learn a little bit more about social media and just continuing to build on what Jen talked about, that's staying with us. But I want to make sure we hit the action steps today. So here's the action steps, and they're so simple. That's why I want to kind of call the audible, because if a lot of people have calls after this call. These are the action steps this week, you guys. We have the goods. You got the training. You guys are learning these skills. We are all learning. And by the way, some of the people in the chat were saying like, oh man, like, I don't know if, I got to get better at this, or, oh, I feel like I'm not doing this well. You know what? You can't say the wrong thing to the wrong thing to the right person, and vice versa. So take action, but what you learn here is the things that will make small differences in your course that make a big difference over time. So here's the action steps this week. Take massive action. Take massive, consistent action on these things and add these tweaks into it. How are you going to get better? Like Sunny was talking about, she did more of them. I love how the chat was blown up. All in on your health during this week, because people can feel your energy when you are on fire in your health. And then lastly, here's the difference maker. Wherever you're at, work this week right now. Test this out. What does it look like to work this week like you worked the last day of the month? Is it really odd that we always start more clients, more coaches, get other things done like at the end of the month? Work this week like that. You guys know what to do. Boom, go do it. So if you've got to jump on this call, off this call, I think we've gotten enough value today. I got to thank the speakers. But if you got to go, great. This is the bonus call. So Susan, let's bring on Lindsay, because social media is so important. That's why we're literally going to hit on it a little bit each week. And Lindsay's going to be sharing next week a little bit, but I wanted to bring on Lindsay to just drop us some additional knowledge on this here. So Lindsay, go for it. The after call right now, we're still 250 strong on here. People want to know this stuff. Could you share with us how you took it to the next level? Because it all started with this time last year.
For sure. I have a page full of notes here, and I think the common theme today that you've heard from all of us is that we are all seeking growth, and we are all trying to get better. And even though I've done hundreds of health assessments, I have a full page of notes. So Sunny, Jen, just really, really good stuff today. And it's funny when Brad had asked me to speak about client support, because it's become one of my favorite things to talk about. But I will say it was not always the case. I had to seek growth and really dive into this area of my business because I wasn't enjoying it. So about this time last year, I really dove into, what do I need to do to move myself forward, and how can I grow as a coach and really integrate my clients? And one of the things for me was social media. So I know Jen last week talked about the 3x3x3. And if you don't know what that is, make sure that you connect with your coach to understand that a little bit more. But this was a huge breakthrough for me last year at this time. I was coaching a diet. I was not talking about long-term transformation. I was doing, my posts every day, but I was just kind of copying and pasting everything, and there was no real thought behind anything I was doing. I was just kind of going through the motions. So when people are talking about, these mindset shifts, and we talk a lot about that, and we're like, what does that mean? What is this mindset shift that they all keep talking about in this breakthrough? Because I'm a very tangible, give me the steps, I'll follow them kind of gal. But what I realized was that if I could lead more with what Optavia is all about, do the tangibles, of course, the 3x3x3 is part of our systems, but to focus more on what are we actually doing in Optavia? So this was a huge breakthrough for me, and it started with social media and making the decision in November and early December that it wasn't just a season of planting seeds for me. It wasn't a time for me to slow down and take a break because, it's Christmas time and, it's easy to say, no one else wants to get healthy right now, so I'm going to take a break too. So instead, what I did was I amped up my social media. I hit the gas, and I just showed people what is possible to thrive through the holidays and to really show up on social media that I'm not coaching to a diet. So you know what? You can do this in the holidays, and it is possible to do this in the holidays. But living my journey and showing what was possible for my clients, showing that on social media was the first place. And one thing I really wanted to touch on today, and I'm going to share my screen, and I promise I won't go too long here. But I think it's important for us as we become coaches, sometimes we forget that we're still clients, right? Is my screen showing?
It's a little bit wonky.
Oh,
Or no, it's
there
there.
we go.
And by
Perfect.
the way, Lindsay, feel free to go in depth. We are in the after hours now.
Cool.
So this is bonus at this material. Everyone wanted 5. So we already wrapped up the call. You are just giving us your gold, letting us into your mind of what made the difference. I think everyone's sitting there like, I want that. I want what Lindsay did. I want to know exactly what it is. Give us that gold this morning. You are free to go.
Cool. Thank you. I think it all is going to start with making the decision. Are you coaching to a diet, or are you coaching to being a transformational program and giving people options and showing people what is possible for them? That was a huge shift for me. And as soon as I made that shift on Facebook, when it wasn't all about the food, but it was about helping people to transform their lives really, and just helping people make really great choices in the holidays. I think I started 12 clients in early December last year. I went back and I looked and I was like, wow. And that was the big shift for me. Another shift was the current clients that I had. I didn't want to sit there and like say, push your order out. The holidays are coming. You know, it'll be fine. Just push your order out. Instead, I said, what can I do to help people thrive through the holidays? And it started with me. It started with me living my journey out loud, and our client support page has become a place for this in, us all living our journeys out loud. So I wanted to share a little bit in here. This is coaches all in our organization who share their journeys. They're not there. I think Sunny had mentioned something about us feeling like we have to know it all when we become coaches, right? We want to be the experts. We feel like we have to have our stuff together, and that's so far from the truth. So we, as a team, have made the decision to show up in our client support page as not just the person that has all the answers, but living our journey. So Julie Pavone is an amazing coach, and she went live yesterday talking about the plan that she's on and how she's going to thrive through the holidays. Obviously, we welcome people. Jeanette, amazing coach, sharing what she's going to make for Thanksgiving. And what is funny about this, I went live last night about thriving through the holidays. And you can tell when people in your client support page, Brad, you had mentioned this yesterday, if you have a coach that waffles a lot, all of their clients waffle. If you have a coach that gets on the Habits of Health calls, all of their clients get on the Habits of Health calls. If you are a coach showing up in your client support page, showing up with your own journey, celebrating other people, all of your clients celebrate other people and show up in your client support page. So if you're looking for like the one gold nugget of everything I'm saying here, and I know I'm kind of all over, it's show up in your client support page, share your journey, live it out loud, because as coaches, we are still on our personal health journeys. And sometimes I feel like we forget that. So this is where all my breakthrough came last year. I hope that you got some good nuggets out of it. If there's any questions I can answer or clarification, Brad, if there's anything in the chat, I'd love to answer it.
No, people are just saying, oh my gosh, this is so good. This is so good. This is so good. Great reminder, Lindsay. This is so good. Basically, everyone's just saying they love you, basically. So if you needed a lift up today. So Lindsay, I guess last question I have for you here today is, people are probably saying, how did you start? I mean, it's so beautifully put about what you decided to lead with and how that injected, because we lead first and then we pour out.
For sure.
Because I remember that time. You worked really closely with Tim and Kelly, and you basically were like, I'm going to do this thing that they keep talking about. Like, you literally upped your life, even though I think you said it scared the crap out of you. Sunny said balls, so I can say crap. What did you do? Because I remember you were like, I'm going to do it and see if it works. And honestly, I remember you catching fire from it. So like, people are probably saying, I want to catch fire from this. I want what Lindsay, and what did you do really? Because you were like, I'm a girl. If you tell me what to do, I'll do it. So what did you, like, what's the last things you can say here? I did this XYZ during this holiday, besides the client support page, which is gold. I think we can add that action step on today. Go be present, go live out loud in your client support page. people can feel that energy. People can live and feel your energy. So you want to bring that energy, put it in the client support page. But I'm talking way too much. What did you do during this time last year that you said, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and you did, and then it led to that fire? What did you do?
I made the decision to show up on social media. I did lives. They were terrifying. I think I hovered over the live button for a good, 5 minutes before I actually hit it. So know that just because you see some other coaches' lives and you're like, man, they're so good at this, and they just know how to do it. I could never be like that person. Know that we're all terrified every time we hit it, right? So I made the decision. I went all in and I posted authentically. I stopped, and I'm not saying that copy and pasting is the worst thing in the world, because if you're going to make a post and that's all you got, make the post. But I started just showing up authentically and becoming super confident in that Optavia is the best gift we can give to anybody. And I really feel like I started showing up with that. So I did lives. I did the 3x3x3 plus some. And I really started connecting authentically, posting authentically, and just living out loud. And I know the 3x3 can sometimes be a to-do list. We think of that like, oh, I got to do this today. But if you can stretch yourself to think of it as this one post could change somebody's life. This one post could change everything. Put a little bit of thought, put a little heart, sit down, meditate on it, pray over it. Whatever you do, show up and just be the light for people. And that was a huge game changer for me, is just living authentically.
Oh my gosh, Lindsay, that was amazing. Like, you give, like, because you're living out loud with your glasses and looking smart, now I have the confidence to put my glasses on and feel smart. All right, Susan, let's wrap up today's call. The chat is absolutely blowing up. I think we can, with the heart that Sunny brought, with just the clarity that Jen brought us to today, just the reminder of following up and investing in relationship, and then just so much gold here. Susan, is there anything that we can add to today? Like, by the way, I just got to point out 210 strong on the after hour, the after party, because you guys are invest. I love being surrounding myself with people that are hungry to become better. I appreciate you guys so much. Susan, anything that we should add for today? Because I honestly think if we just inject like 10% of what we took from today, it'll change the course of our business. What do you want to say here as we wrap up?
No, I just feel like if we all, I showed up today to seek growth. I learned, they took notes. I learned from all of you. So I hope that you showed up just to get better. Like, we're never arrived, but just to get better at what we do and continue to want to master. And I feel like if we deliver you guys an extraordinary experience, got my mini-me here, people are not going to shut up about us. Like, I can say shut up, right? If we're going to say crap and balls today. Okay. So people aren't going to shut up about us, because and it starts like from the beginning. Like, how many of you have received a referral before their program even arrived because their experience was so killer, like on the health assessment and how you supported them before their program arrived? They're like, man, you guys got to get involved in this. That's the momentum and energy you want to hopefully bring into your business, right? And so all these little nuances, this is like, soak it in. Bring that out. Like, Lindsay, yours was, thank you so much. And gosh, Sunny, Karen, everyone, Jen nailed it today. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. You're right. 200 strong. Love it. So excited. Brad, I'll let you give the final note of the day.
There's nothing else to say. Let's just go take action. Let's go pour our heart into other people. Let's live boldly and authentically, and let's light a fire that people want to come sit aside. And what I love about this is we only have, we went over an hour today in the after party, but I could call on so many people that could train this exact thing. So I just want to say congratulations to all of you for being committed to excellence and just being who you are. Appreciate you all. Go have an on fire Saturday. The commitment this week is to be on fire in your health and work this week like it's the last week of the month and live boldly. Thank you, everyone who shared, dropping knowledge, and thank you for not only doing the do, but giving yourself the position to share with other people exactly how the system is showing up in your world. All right, guys, have a great Saturday. Go get after it.
Don't want to leave.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Brad.
Bye, guys.
This was golden today, you guys. It was so good.
Yeah, loved it. And just thanks for everyone that communicated in the chat. Like, there was just bombs going off in the chat too. So, all right, you guys, have a great week. If there's anything you need clarity on,
Brad.
Connect. Yeah. If there's anything you need clarity on, the key is doing this with your support team. So if there's anything, go get clarity on that and let's go take action. All right. Talk to you guys all later.